For everyone who is giving Idubbbz' wife Anissa Joma the benefit of the doubt and saying that everyone who said she was a toxic and destructive force in his life were just overreaching with their conspiracy theories, in this video, I will lay down the definitive proof to quell that doubt. She is clearly and openly a poisonous, vile-ass witch woman succubus who is vampirically sucking the dignity and energy from this poor man as part of her sick humiliation ritual. Not only has she denied Ian creative and comedic freedom to make content that the entirety of his fan base unanimously agrees is more engaging and more entertaining than his contemporary content. And not only has she made him into an emotionally volatile, insecure man-child that can't handle existing in the same realm as people he dislikes, but she's also been exposing some very sensitive, important information about him that any normal person would never want exposed to the public. The most recent and damning example of this being how she humiliated him on his fundraising live streams by telling the whole world about his incontinence concerning his irritable bowel syndrome, or in layman's terms, how he defecates his trousers.
If you can. I just want to ask you if you've always been shitting your pants.
No.
Because since I've known you, you've always had like IBS. You've always been shitting yourself.
Yeah, well...
You can just tell by his withdrawn and detached reaction that he's probably completely embarrassed by this, and the fact that he offers no resistance whatsoever is probably a telling sign that this type of treatment from Anissa isn't unusual. You can just dismiss this as a distasteful joke, but if that were the case, why isn't Ian putting the slightest effort into at least humoring her? He doesn't really give me the impression that he's having a fun time or playing along whenever Anissa makes a deprecatory joke towards him.
Fighting for the first time, his head, it was like a chicken, and he would like move his body but not his head, so he would do like a lot of this.
Trashy or trailer park would be one, untucked or like a bit unorganized and simple, right?
White.
Well, that goes with trailer trash.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's
Do you
his vibe.
identify with the trailer parks, Ian?
Yeah.
Unpack
Beautiful.
that.
Yeah, go ahead.
If this is how Anissa treats her husband in front of the camera in public, I can only imagine how she treats him in the home. Ian's complete lack of self-esteem and unwillingness to establish respect for himself is a telling sign of a one-sided toxic relationship where one party has submitted to the other completely. I researched a bit deeper to support this idea, so it wasn't completely unsubstantiated, and I found a clip of her on a podcast saying that she discards relationships that she has even the slightest amount of friction with.
So it's really hard to have somebody that kind of balances you or like is there to tell you what's up, because as soon as like you've decided that they're no good, like that's it.
My biggest, I mean, there's like some days where I ask Ian, like, have I ruined your life? Like, I feel like because you get so many messages.
Yeah.
Where like you have to think about it.
And when she gets into disagreements with her partner, she goes into a state of fight or flight.
As you go into fight or flight, you're like, especially in relationships for me, I thought I was dying.
This would very well explain Ian's complete avoidance of any form of altercation with Anissa, or why he refuses to stand his ground about anything. He was probably taught to conform to her by Anissa having a hysterical meltdown every time there was any type of conflict between them.
A narcissistic person who never wants to be challenged will want a partner who does nothing but deliver exactly what they're told to deliver, but they will mistreat them beyond belief.
This toxic behavior from Anissa would also explain Ian's tendency to disassociate and just check out from reality while living his day-to-day life.
You know, that's what some people would call meditation.
Yeah.
When you're in that kind of state of overexertion while clearing your mind.
Oh, no, not overexertion. I love to just check out. Just randomly. Maybe like when I'm driving.
That's called dissociation. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's not meditation.
Yeah, I love doing that.
This dynamic between Ian and Anissa has resulted in a relationship that only has autonomy for one party, with all decisions being made by Anissa, and the creative direction of Ian's career being managed by Anissa. This can be seen going all the way back to the content cop days of Ian's career. Anissa fully admits to being the only reason the Tanamojo content cop exists, with Ian only creating the video because Anissa told him to.
I also take ownership for the Tana thing was my.
Oh, that was so long ago.
Was my idea. Was my stupid idea.
Fast forward to the current year, and it seems that Anissa, being Ian's intellectual handler and career manager, has landed him in some hot water due to her being so utterly incompetent as a businesswoman. She let a petty personal vendetta get in the way of generating more success for Creator Clash 2 and making more money for the charity, something she claims to care a lot about. When you decided to completely sabotage the Froggy Fresh card, all because he made a very harmless, innocuous joke about your OnlyFans, different creators came out of the woodworks to cough up huge sums of money if you're willing to put your differences aside and have him back on the card. The most notable examples being Sam Hyde and Gideon. You had different internet celebrities willing to drop huge amounts of cash and generate traction for your event, and you had God knows how many of their fans who were willing to pay for and attend the event, and you threw that all away for the sake of your fragile ego. I mean, if you look at it objectively, the reason Froggy Fresh was kicked from the card was for two reasons. First, being that he was associating with Sam Hyde, which is completely contradictory because Harley Morenstein was allowed to attend the first Creator Clash after training under him and doing content with him. The other reason being is that he made the infamous OnlyFans joke.
That I will subscribe to Anissa's OnlyFans.
Which is also very muddy because in Ian's 2020 video addressing the OnlyFans drama, he said that most of the jokes made about Anissa were fine and didn't emotionally affect him. What gives? Well, after doing more research, I found some readily available receipts that exist that shed more light about the nature of the situation. Remember when I said that Anissa exposes sensitive information about Ian to the public? Well, this is actually a reoccurring character trait that goes back all the way to the beginning of the relationship. Well, going back to 2017, around the same point that Ian was making the Tana Mojo content cop, she was seen exposing her relationship issues to complete strangers on Discord in hopes to get some armchair relationship counseling, I guess, even going so far as to say she wants to break up with him. Well, how is this relevant? Well, around the same time that Anissa was planning to break up with Ian, she was seen publicly being overly intimate with Chris Ray Gun. I would go so far as to say they had a friends with benefits dynamic during the same exact time that Anissa had all these relationship issues with Ian. One important piece of trivia that I also forgot to mention here is that Anissa actually met Ian at a VidCon and she cheated on her boyfriend to be with him. And her boyfriend was 17 years old at the time while she was 24. And there's also been recent rumors from Keemstar that she cheated on Ian with her personal trainer. Take to that as you will.
So she goes to the gym, all right, and then she starts fooling around with her personal trainer. And the personal trainer is saying like, hey, if you want to really get in shape, you should try this boxing stuff. So Anissa falls in love with a fake boxing workout plan. Like, it's not real boxing. It's like literally pretend to be a boxer to lose weight type. And then she realizes, like, look, messing up, I'm being unfaithful, all right? But why did I even like this personal trainer in the first place? Because this personal trainer was a man. He boxed, right? So she leaves the gym, leaves the relationship with a personal trainer, and it's just itching at her, right? Like, a real man boxes. Like, she can't get over her trainer boyfriend that she had in the past that she cheated on Idubbbz with. So she convinces Ian to do boxing.
And when you look at the Froggy Fresh card and who he was fighting none other than Chris Ray Gun himself. When he made that OnlyFans joke, he wasn't just poking fun at the fact that Anissa's an e-whore. He was making fun of how fragile her relationship is with Ian. You can even see that at some point between the OnlyFans video in 2020 and now, Ian fully admits to being emotionally affected by the ridicule he received from his audience concerning his wife, and says that it was the primary reason he decided to start boxing.
Is there anything that made you snap over the past year that made you want to get in the ring and fight a man to the death?
When she started OnlyFans, I realized that the audience that I cultivated
turned on you.
Yeah, or a portion of them. I'd say like maybe half.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this sucks. That's when everything snapped, and I was like, F it, I need to kill someone.
Sam Hyde definitely didn't play any role in his inspiration whatsoever.
I mean, I'm the guy that, Idubbbz, would you say that I inspired your boxing career?
No, you did not.
Okay, okay.
When you take into consideration how sensitive his ego is and how insecure he is about his relationship, it makes that much more sense why he had so much more disdain towards Sam Hyde during Creator Clash 2 compared to Creator Clash 1. Not only did Sam Hyde crush his frail ego when he tried to make a hit piece on him in 2020, which led to Ian barring him from the first event, But he was poking fun at Anissa leading up to the second event by coining the phrase Yoko Ono and saying that she was ruining his life.
Mark my words, that woman is going to ruin his life. I want him to get the tattoos lasered off, get a normal haircut, get rid of Yoko Ono. That's poisonous. That relationship is poisonous.
This is why Ian was so much more anal about Sam Hyde and anyone associated with him during the second event. And in turn, he allowed his event to completely fail to the point where many of the charities connected to it didn't even receive a single cent. They're so vindictive towards Froggy and Sam Hyde that they even tried to sue Froggy for associating with him, which Ian claims never happened in his video addressing the drama from a few months ago, but there's literal evidence to the contrary. This is how insecure these people are. In his new video addressing the discrepancy, he says that he's $250,000 in the red, and he hasn't been able to pay out many of the charities he promised to. And he has no one else to blame but himself.
We're $250,000 in the red.
If he were to just put aside his pride and ego, he could have made hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit for the event and for the charities via Gideon and Sam Hyde's offers, as well as had all their fans that were willing to pay for and attend the event. Instead of taking personal responsibility for butchering the event, he blames it on everyone who is pirating the event, and says that everyone who pirated it were doing it either because they were too poor or because they had a personal issue with him.
But we didn't have any anti-piracy measures. Okay, people maybe do want to watch this. They just didn't, they just either couldn't afford it or just didn't want to support what I had going on.
Did he also ever consider the idea that the price wasn't warranted for the product he was selling? Did he ever consider that he neutered the event by barring actual entertaining creators who could have made the event more interesting and harbored more viewers and attendees? Maybe forbidding showroom beef and drama, something that all fighting events use to generate more hype and tension and make everything more fun, wasn't a good idea. Now he's desperately trying to recuperate his losses and give money back to the charities that he originally promised to give money to by doing 24-hour boring low blood sugar ass live streams and doing Boogie 2988 levels of e-bagging the entire time. What makes it worse is that he promised the charities, such as a Kids Cancer Foundation, a lot more money than he actually paid them. And when he was caught with his pants down and couldn't pay out the money that he promised, he practically ghosted them and didn't address it whatsoever. It was only until they contacted him via email inquiring about the money that he gave any clarification that they wouldn't receive any more. And this was only hours before he uploaded his new video. We're talking months of him refusing to communicate with kids' cancer charities about not receiving any of the funds that he originally promised them. I guess he just thought that if he ignored them for long enough, they would somehow forget about it. It seems like being terrible at communication and downright refusing to clear the air about points of contention is a reoccurring characteristic of Idubbbz. You gotta love how the arbiter of moral integrity and ethics, Idubbbz, the person who said that trash-talking people over the internet was cruelty, and has since distanced himself from that edgy genre, and most importantly, the person who is trash-talking other boxing events for not being charity-oriented enough and having too much drama, has been exposed for scamming children's cancer charities. Yeah, maybe you should have let Keemstar manage your boxing event instead of your incompetent, drooling, mongrel, idiot witch wife.
So he did want Keemstar to organize the event. So naturally, I took on all the responsibility of organizing this event because I'm not going to have Keemstar do that.
Ever since he was stripped of his creative freedom by his demon succubus wife, ever since she became his intellectual handler, his content has devolved to a state that the entirety of his fan base unanimously agrees is worse than it was previously. At this point, all videos that don't have to do directly with the creator clash drama is performing terribly. Not even his newfound audience of SJW liberal freaks are tuning in anymore. And it's this reason why I think he reignited the drama once again. Nobody's watching his videos about squirrels and Thanos toy and ants. It's only a matter of time until the creator clash drama becomes irrelevant and he inevitably falls into obscurity. One thing I noticed is that Ian fully admitted to Anissa being the main manager of Creator Clash 1 and 2, yet in the video of him addressing the failure of the event, she is nowhere to be found. All I hear is I and no we. I thought they were operating as a team. I guess when things go poorly, all accountability falls on Ian.
You ask any of our fighters and it's like, yeah, Anissa was the one who like solves problems. She is more communicative than me, and she's better at communicating than I am. I suck at this. So Anissa is the one. She is the one to talk to.
I foolishly thought, okay, I think that should translate to more pay-per-view buys. So I thought that would translate to pay-per-view buys. So I was wrong, and I feel a lot of shame because a lot of people were trusting me.
I guess he could actually retain his relevancy for a little while longer and actually create an entertaining boxing event the second time around if he were to actually go through his offer to fight Leafy is Here. I'm not so sure Ian would have the balls to go through with it, considering Leafy's boxing coach is going to be Sam Hyde if this ever does go down for real. And you know how Ian's treated Sam Hyde's fighters in the past.
If I ever do decide to start boxing, I think I will have to go train with you.
If you want to get serious, I would do it with you.
Also, I don't know if Leafy would even be able to contact or communicate with Ian in the first place, considering Ian has gone on a complete blocking spree and refuses to hear what any of his critics have to say, Leafy being one of those people. I also don't even know if Ian's willing to be a fighter anymore, considering he removed the boxing guru from his Twitter handle. I guess he hung that title up after being humiliated in the ring for twice in a row now. I don't understand how there could be anyone who defends the actions of Ian and his demon succubus wife, but there apparently are, most notable being Harley Mornstein of Epic Mealtime, who ironically enough trained under Sam Hyde for the first event. He was repeatedly seen defending Ian's indefensible actions, like kicking Froggy Fresh for no reason and refusing all the money that could have gone through the charities throughout the entirety of this drama. Recently, his true colors were exposed and he appeared like a pathological lying egomaniac when screenshots were leaked of him fabricating information about Creator Clash 2 and how it was apparently making more money than the first event. I don't know why he's willing to go through these lengths of selling his dignity and lying to people just to defend Idubbbz. Why doesn't he just admit that he was wrong? I guess this is just classic H3H3 ethnicity behavior. I guess this story is just a PSA on how to spot a succubus and making sure you don't give them any authority on making decisions and changing the direction of your life. Vampires exist, and they look like Anissa Joma. Joma isn't even Ian's last name. She forced him to relinquish his surname and made him take hers. That is how much control she has over his sovereignty.
What the hell is this?
Is that her last name?
He's taken her last name, brother. They married in June, with Idubbbz' last name changed from Washburn to Joma. My brother, oh man, he is deeply in pain.
Once a vampire latches her fangs into a weak, pathetic man like this, it's already too late. All we can do now is watch a once legendary creator who seemed to be unstoppable at the time decay into a husk of his former self. We must keep our wooden stakes by your side and purge creatures like this from our platform and keep it pure of heathens like this. Anyways, follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, both links are in the description. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
There's like some days where I ask Ian, like, have I ruined your life?